Hello, here we are today on the sixth part of our six-part series that we will cover today how to secure your ERPNext or the Frappe Cloud or whichever service you are using on your Linux instance. So we'll cover how to do it on the cloud. I mean, with the cloud provider like Azure or Oracle Cloud or DigitalOcean or whoever. Then we'll go on the Linux level and we will go to Frappe level. I mean, in fact, we will mix it all together. So it's because there is no clear-cut definition of security because everyone approaches security differently because security is always a trade-off between convenience and security. Actually, so let's say we have a network with no security, and we have a network with full security. That means there will be a trade-off. So you may come somewhere between this. Somewhere with full security, 100%. I mean, there is nothing called 100% security, but let's say 99% security or something. So if it's like that, then you will go through lot of things like, I have clients, they financial institutions, most probably financial institutions, uh, like banks and money exchanges and insurance companies and all, they will go top on the security. And there is some companies that very much, I mean, data is not that secret or something. It's like I have a client like a survey company. They do survey among people, but they concentrate on what exactly, I mean, what's the easiest way for the staff because we have a lot of staffs, like hundreds of staff. They are going all around the city and ask people questions and all, and they put the feedback. So they don't want that much security, but the convenience of the actual user. The user is surveys that the boys and girls going for survey. So they are not looking for that much security. They will just for convenience. So you are in between this, somewhere here. So you don't know. So if you are a financial company or an insurance company or a money exchange, that type of company, I have clients like what they are using a lot of things like reverse proxy, like hardware reverse proxy, like Barracuda, and they use VPN for all their accesses, and they use RSA module for two-factor authentication, and they protect. I mean, people not to take screenshots, and they have security auditing every 6 months. Security auditing is there, and they have IP binding with the users because they don't want everybody to access from every place. There is firewalls with the multi-layer security like Checkpoint and Sonic Wall and the Fortinet and all of these things. There are, I mean, if you are a financial company, then you need all of this because the data that you are handling is too sensitive. I mean, it needs ultimate level of security. So I mean, on top of this, they will have geolocation. I mean, geo-blocking because if they want to access from Saudi, they will allow only access from Saudi, and there will be compliances and all of these things. And on the other hand, people that company I told you, they don't care much about the data secrecy, but they are caring only about the convenience of people. They will have nothing. They will have nothing. And the companies like normal financial company, manufacturing company and all, what they will do, they will go for very uh I mean something, I mean they are secure, but not that like a financial company because they are caring about the user convenience and all. So where you stand. So the thing is, generally a company like a manufacturing company or detail company and all, there is something that we definitely will follow because if, I mean, you cannot say that we need only convenience and no security. There is no companies like that. Something that you need to do. That there is no doubt about that. The first one, what we say. Okay, before that, I would say there is no substitution for backup. No substitution for backup. Okay, so you need backup on every level, and you need to test, restore, and everything. So there is no compromise. There should be no compromise on that. You have to have backup, whatever security that you have. So it's out of discussion. Then what you need to do, we have explained in the second video, if I guess, that how to do it in the production environment. So what is why it's important you to put it in production environment? I have explained it in the second video. Maybe you can, if you were not following our series, you can revisit and see why we are insisting on production environment. Because there are components like NGNX, supervisor, etc. So these components are very important for security, because if you are opening your bench start, I mean, you can basically, technically, you can run an ERPNext with the simple command bench start, and it will open on 8000. And you can allow one or two users to access using this port number 8000 with a simple bench command. But that way it shouldn't work that way, because there is no security. If you are opening port with a bench start with 8000, there is no security. You are just open. I mean, there is no way that you can protect it. I mean, the user has access directly into your system, and they can, I mean, a hacker can do a lot of things if you are open with a bench start. So the actual user should be behind NGNX, and the processes has to be coordinated by supervisor. So it should be the first and foremost thing that you must follow, that it should be behind, I mean, it should be in production mode, not as in we explained in the first video. It should be like in the second video. It has to be in the production mode. That's the first one. Now, on the second one, let's say on what is the second one? We should say that close port number 8000 on the firewall. How to close it? I will come to you. I will come after some time, because you even when you are using it in a production mode, this TCP port 8000 will be there, because the bench is using this the Gunicon. I told you it in the second video. There is a port reference in the G-Unicon, and in the NGNX for that. So on the firewall, you close this port, even you are using it in the production mode, and close MySQL or MariaDB, whichever way you call it, because don't ever allow MySQL for outside world. I mean, you may think that you are putting proper permission on MySQL, and you are giving only access to certain field or something. No, just close it. You have another way to allow access for integration and outside users and everyone. It's using API. API is very easy. We will conduct another session on API. So don't allow direct access on MySQL. Use API. And about MySQL, if you remember, we have explained on the MySQL what exactly that you need to do. There is a secure MySQL thing that we have explained here on the first video. It says that remove anonymous users, disallow login remotely, that kind of things. We have already done that. But on the port, because there is MySQL standard ports are there, you need to close it. Close all the ports related to MySQL. Don't allow anyone to use MySQL directly. It's very harmful. Just close it. And SSH, you can say it's you need SSH for updating, maintaining, or allow access to some programmers or troubleshooting and all of these things. But keeping SSH open is anyway very dangerous. So close it all the time or change the default port. I will tell you how to change the default port, and don't allow others to access your SSH port directly. Close it all the time. When you need it, open it. That's it. And number 5, SSL certificate. Don't use your production server like NGINX without SSL certificate. Nowadays, all the browsers are stopping HTTP and without certificate access and all, but there are methods to bypass that, but don't do that. SSL certificate is now free. Let's Encrypt is giving it out. I have explained it on the video, and it's in the here on our third session. Here we have explained how to use Let's Encrypt. So use it. Don't put it without any security. I mean, never go for that. Now, what is the next one? There is password scores. So how if you ask me, why I worked as a security consultant for a long time. So what is the most, most easiest, most probable way of hacking into your system, or you are losing a data or anything? It's basically passwords. So if you are allowing passwords like ABC at 123 and your children names, or password at 123, this kind of passwords, or very simply 1234566, that kind of passwords, a hacker will not take even 10 seconds to hack your system. That's done. So in the ERPNext, what you can see here on the system settings, there is password security. So here, if there is option minimum password score. This password score means if you put it this, almost every password will be. If you untick this, everything will accept, like 123, 1234566 and all that. And believe me, most users will use that also. That's the way people behave. So you keep it, and uh, two is actually basically what it will do on this. If you are creating a user, and if you want to change the username, no, the password. So if it's 2, it will allow, it will stop something, but it will allow like ABC at 123. Okay, it allowed ABC at 123, but it will not allow a simple password like ABCDEF. It will not allow that. It will say, okay, it's a sequential password, or it will not allow, something like a simple password like let me in or something like that. It will not allow. So this is, it will say it's a top 100 common password. So this, when you are saying that, the password security, if you put 2, it will have some kind of security, but it will not effective in most cases, because it will allow ABC at 123, 1234566 at ABC. That kind of password it will allow. You always keep it at least 3. Okay. If you put 3, then it will not even allow passwords like, let me try, passwords like ABC at 123 and all. It will not allow it. It will ask for something like uh, some level of complication, like some level of complication it will ask. But I mean, it will ask for a smaller recaps and a number and that kind of thing. And if you put password, you can of course put it on level 4, but the problem is some of your users maybe find it difficult to find a level 4 password. But I would say put it for, let them find a password for themselves. There is no harm in that, but I will say as a mandatory thing, you have to go for at least 3. Okay, so that's one thing. The password on the password base, I want to say that. Then, and the password, when you say about the password, allow, there are some options here. Session expiry. So this session expiry is this one. You need to give it like how long your a user works, because some companies they have a session from morning 7 to 2, or somehow 8 to 10 or something. Normally, if you have a lunch break or something, your people work around 4 hours or something. So here on the session expiry, you put like somebody work a long working hour there, but after that it should go expire. So what happens? Otherwise, if somebody leave with their computer open, and later someone use that computer, or someone hacks that computer, this password is already there, and they have all the system access. So this reduce it as much as possible, because if the user leaves the premise, then it's logged off. So that is one important thing. And on the mobile, if your user using is mobile, that's not a problem, because mobile normally already have some kind of password security. But anyway, this is up to you to decide. And here, one thing, allow only one session per user. How it is important to tick it? Because if the password is leaked and some others are using it silently, then you will know that it will not allow you to log in. So you will be compelled to disconnect the other user and change the password. So if your password is already leaked and someone silently using it, you will know if you tick it. That's an important thing that you need to consider. And force user to reset password. This one, I don't know, because I found some clients told me it's hard for them, because whenever it's asking for a password change, the user will call the administrator, and that kind of conflict. I mean, it's a administration nightmare. But still, if you can consider it, changing it in once in a month or something like that, password recovery. But here is password. There is something here. Brute force security. Brute force security is actually, you know what is brute force, right? I mean, somebody keep trying some password. So here, if someone tried thrice, or I mean 2 times or 3 times, then it will stop them trying again for the fourth time. If you put it 3, and up to 60 seconds, they cannot try again. So you can, I mean, you can say it's a locking period. It's just a locking period. So you can just use it. I mean, I normally keep it 300 because if they mistake three passwords, I will log them for 5 minutes because the automated system. I mean, these hackers are not actual human being. It's automated system. So what happens when they keep trying and once it's locked, as the most of the system are 60 seconds, so they will stay silent 60 seconds and then come back again. So to avoid that, you keep it 300 seconds, so that's 5 minutes, and assume that they will not come back. So if somebody logged for somebody tried their password thrice, log them for 5 seconds. No, 5 minutes. Then after that, there is two-factor authentication. We have done a video on. I will not recommend. I mean, I will not say. I'm not saying I will not recommend. I will not say that you need mandatory go for it. We have done another video on two-factor authentication. It is there on the YouTube. I will share the link with you on the show note. So what you can do, you can go for that. But you know, every time when the user login in, they need to check it into authenticator and enter into the system. That's not bad, but depends what type of users that they are using it. But it's very advisable. You can go for that. There's no harm in that, and it will add additional security. So these are kind of things that you need to take care of on the password side. Then what we will do, we will go for some security features that you already have it on your or firewall or you can have it on the Linux machine. So let's start that. If you are if you are thinking on the side of a hacker, what how hacker gets hacking everything around. So there is one thing that they do automated programs. I mean, the computers, the servers that dedicate to find all the IPs in the world and all the open ports in the world and try once they get it. For example, they are trying a block of IP, all the IPs in your region, and if they find port number 22, and then they will start. Okay, I got a server with the port, so they assume because SSH port number SSH on 22. So what they will do once they catch it, they know there is an SSH port. Then they will start the passwords and other tricks to do to get into that port and eventually hack your system. So what you need to do that any port, normal ports that you are supposed to use 22, 21 for FTP, 80 for HTTP, A443 for SSL, 8000 for your Frappe, and what. So these are the general ports that and MySQL ports or some other ports generally used. So they will keep trying on that ports. So if you let's assume your port SSH port that you put in instead of 22, you put something like 8351. Let's say you put this port. So you can argue that they can find this port also. But nowadays it's very difficult because port scanners, because hackers has to use port scanners. You know what is port scanners? They will scan port from 1 to 10,000 or something. They will scan every port. But nowadays the hosting service providers, the firewalls, they will not allow port scanners. Once they start doing it one or two or three ports on a same IP, they will just ban that IP. I mean the source IP and close. I mean close the hacker. I mean shut the hacker down. So here instead you keep this 22. They will only type 22 because 22 is the most most common port in the world, because everyone using Linux on the cloud, almost everyone. So, or if you are using a Windows server, they will use 3389 or something. So always keep change the port. And even then, this one, you can see our the server that we are testing. You can use this one, is we are using 4433. So this is a port, because eh, they don't I mean, this is even the general port, but you can put something like some other ports number for your ERPNext or for your Frappe. You can use any port, because how to configure the ports, we have explained it in the version 2, I mean, on the series 2. So I'll just show you how to do that in this. Um, so here actually we are using port number 22, because that's the standard port. So if you go to etc sshd config, oh no, SSH, and you just edit SSHD config, you can see here port 22. You can just change it here and put whatever port you need. You can put some other ports, what we have discussed, like 8351, and just restart the service. I'm not changing it because my firewall is configured, but this is the just the method that you can change. You can change the port of your SSH, so others will not come there. And so after that, you put service SSH the restart. So uh, it will be on the new ports. That's the way you change SSH port. And about the ERPNext, what you do, and there is this file names and all. It's in the document, and we once we were explaining the production mode in the series video 2, we have explained this. So here you can see it here. There is a port. This port you can change it, because this is the port we can use it for here. This listen 80 will be the standard. You can change it into some other port. So the hackers will never, you will make sure that they will never reach. I mean, almost never reach on your system. And there is 8,000. This is there in the supervisor or in the Polycon. Here you can see 8,000 here. This 8,000 anyway, you don't need to open it. I will show you how to close it on the firewall. But if you want to change it, you can change it on the Unicorn, I mean G Unicorn 8,000. So this is here, that's not important because we are not opening for the public. And if we are using any other ports like 21 and all. So one thing I will tell you, if you are opening a public website, in that case that you cannot change password port for the 443, because on the 44 there are two things you need to consider. On the 443, you cannot change it if you are using a public, if you are planning to host a public website like the one we are having. You cannot change it, because people will accept only this one, port number 443, because the general public out there, they don't understand what is the port. So in case if you are publishing a website, you need to keep this 443. And about the 80, Let's Encrypt need this port, because Let's Encrypt until now, they only work through port number 80. They will not work through any other port. So if you are using Let's Encrypt, you need 80 open on the firewall. And if you are hosting public website with ERPNext, then you need 443 open. So these are the two considerations that you, and there is no reason that you keep 22. I mean, there is no reason that you should keep 22. In every circumstances, you can change it into some other port for the SSH. Now, that changing the port is one of the best method that you need to follow. And then there are two type of firewalls. This part, there are two type of firewall. One hosting provider will give you a firewall, and we have a Linux firewall, and that is called uncomplicated firewall, UFW. So I'll show you how to do that. Hosting providers, whoever the hosting providers nowadays providing firewall. So if you have opened, let's say 5583 for SSH, 6319 for your ERPNext, and you need only these two ports to allow to access through the firewall. Any other attempt, anything else, you don't need to allow to you don't need to allow into your system. So what generally we need to do on the, let's say, if you are hosting with Azure, because I have an Azure account. So if you are hosting with Azure, you can go into that particular virtual machine. I don't know how many of you using this Azure on the virtual machine and your own virtual machine. Here you can add your own input, which one you need, because whichever port, source any, it should be source any, because it's from anywhere. Wait, so if you want to allow geolocation, I will tell you that. Source should be any, and destination you can keep this IP or any, because it doesn't matter, because you are hosting only one server. And the destination port, you will say, okay, this is the destination. 5583 is the destination, or 6319 is the destination, and you 5583 is the destination, 55 is the destination, and only TCP. You don't need to any allow other protocol, and allow. That's it. So only allow that whichever port that you need, you can do it on the Microsoft Azure. So two things. First, this is it's on the outer perimeter. So any traffic will be blocked even it's before it's reaching your server. So it will be more safe than you are putting a firewall inside your Linux, because a firewall inside the Linux, anyway, it's operating inside your server, but this is outside your server. This is much more secure. Then this is, and you add another port. If you want to explicitly deny some port, you can do that. And some companies like Azure, they're having geo location. I mean, so they will check which part of the world they are coming in, the traffic coming. So it will be like, if you are in UAE, you are hosting in the UAE. We have service in UAE and Saudi, as you know that we are hosting in UAE and Saudi and in Johannesburg. So if your company is in UAE, you don't have anybody outside the company. So what you do, you block everybody outside UAE, everyone outside UAE, because you don't need to open for entire world. Your system, you don't need to open to entire world. You just limit that to that. And suppose someone travel outside, some of you travel outside UAE, that's not very frequent. Sometimes somebody travel, or some manager want to work from home from India or in the US. What you do, you can use VPN. Most of the companies giving VPN as a service, so you can use that. So if you are in the UAE or the Saudi or the Qatar or wherever, you can geo block. I mean, you allow only from that country, because all your staff settings are in the country, and whoever is outside use VPN, because VPN is multi-layer security, so nobody can just hack into your system. So that's one of the best thing that if you are hosting with Azure or Oracle or Google or something, you can just use that provision. Many of our clients using that provision, so you can just use that. Or and in the there are other providers. Let's say Linode, we are the company that we are always using for testing and all. You can just go to the firewall page and create a firewall and apply it to your own instance. Then you can go inside that and add inbound routes, like whichever company you want. You just go there and put the TCP and the custom port, whichever port you want, 5583, and source you can put whichever source you need. They are also providing Geo if you want. Then you can just add the inbound route. So all the traffic that somebody is trying other than your actual firewall, it will be blocked before it is reaching your server. So we are offering that service. Everyone of, I mean, all the hosting providers, we are giving hosting service in UAE and Saudi. We are also offering this service, including VPN. So you can use that. Then if you are going into, let's say, if you are not using that service, or you want double layer protection, because many companies, they need double layer. Even someone hack into your service provider, then in this, my advice is that about the SSH port, SSH, you always close SSH, because you don't need to open SSH. Close whenever you need SSH to be open for a program or for some update and all. You at that time only you just add. Otherwise, just keep all the time SSH closed, because it's the most important thing. So you don't need to keep it open. That's just saying. We will go to UFW. So this is something called, there is something called UFW. That's called uncomplicated firewall. It is there in the Ubuntu. If you are installing yourself Ubuntu, most of the hosting providers giving you, it's inside the Ubuntu. But if you just want, you can just use apt UFW install. Of course, you know that. So you just use UFW, and UFW enable and disable. So you can just say there are some a clean document about UFW here. UFW basically what UFW does is it activate a firewall inside your Linux. So even somebody hack your, get through your firewall on the hosting provider, even it reach here, it stops here. It's a double layer security. It depends on whether you want it or not, because if you are already blocked all the port inside the hosting provider's firewall, it may not be necessary here, but double layer security always the best thing you can do. So UFW, there's a clean document here. How to use the VFW, it's command line. So you can just say VFW status. So your UFW status means what I have already allowed here, because on this server, while we were testing, we were using port number 22 for SSH. That's very bad. We shouldn't use that. I told you, because it's a testing server. We are using it. Otherwise, we would never use that. And other things like I'm using 1221 for ERPNext, and this V6 you don't need it actually, because I don't know how many of you are, using a service that use IPv6, but if you are using it, that's very rare. then only open that, because why open something that's not important? So V6 you don't need it, and this is the way. And numbered is the command. It will show the number here. So if you want close some port, you can just say UFW delete. The commands are, I mean, it's pretty simple commands. You can use it like for it's deleting now. So if I come back to there, you cannot say that this it's gone. So it should be one is gone. Okay, 1 minute. UFW delete for proceed with operation. Yes. Now see, that's gone. So this type of simple commands. So if it's active, it will show. You can just disable it also. If for some testing or something, if you just don't want that, you can just disable it, or you can enable it. Simple commands, all simple commands. So that's why it's an uncomplicated firewall, they say it. And here, one thing, firewall, all of this, generally you need to allow certain IP, certain, I mean, I explained the ports. What are the ports here? So sometimes you can just allow some IPs from some IP, so you can put this type of command. Um, Deny, you can close some ports. So I'll just go through this because this not that complicated. I think all of you can read it. So some, if you want to close some IP, you can use that. Then deny and some one thing I didn't tell you until now, that from inside to outside also you need to block it, because even some unnecessary traffic going from inside to outside also. Let's say port number 2500, some hackers get into the system and put some spyware there to send spam mails to everyone. Your IP will be blocked by everybody, and you will be listed as a spammer, and there is some legal complication also. So you can just put it like this also, because this is only you allow one or two ports that you need to send traffic outside, generally uh, 900, that kind of some port for your SMTP, I mean secure SMTP or secure POP or something like that. Only that you allow that port, and close all other port. That's also one of the ping, about the ping also, because if people ping, that ping is the basic tool hackers using to find the simple ping, our own ping. You can use stop this ping also. How to use stop ping? UFW stop ping. So you can uh, just follow this step. There is a file here. You can just use this. There is, oh, sorry. This folder, actually everything in this folder is the one executed. So you can put it before in it, before dot. So here you can add a this lines, so it will stopping. So if you just add that lines here, it will stop ping into the system. So nobody will be able to ping to the system. It may not be helpful for you to test it, but it is a very effective mechanism. Not accept. It's just put it here. You copy this port and put it here. So it will stop. It will eventually stop it. I'm not saving it. Uh, it will stop the ping. I mean, now we have learned how to stop ping, and you can use this document how to allow ports, only allow ports. If you allow ports, all other ports will be dropped, I mean rejected. So just use allow ports, and that means all other ports will be blocked. And this UFW has done that. And what else? So here, okay, Geo. You can use Geo UFW Geo IP block. So you what this you can use it. There is something called geolocation. There is a site. You can use this site, ip2location.com. This you can get a free database, ip2location. And what you can do, you can download it here. You can use any country. For example, you don't want anybody to access the site from, let's say, Brazil. I mean, I don't have any problem. I just found it there. Then you can put Linux IP tables accept. You have accept this. You have accept table also. You have drop table also. You can just use, let's say, Saudi Arabia. If you put it Linux IP table accept, or you can use CADR. CADR is the perfect one for the UFW. So what you do, you just download that. You download it and put it on your Linux and add it on. There is, I mean, you can just add it like this. This is the command for that. You can just add it into your UFW database. So what happens? Only the Saudi Arabia users will accept your server. So that's the idea behind it. So these are the things that I wanted to discuss today. And there is some tools, like it's not tool. There is some tools like fail to ban. Fail to ban is it's it's actually, if you are opening SSH port, then on the SSH port it will it will reject after a couple of attempts. Also, I would say that in the on the this one, you can set up it like you need you don't allow root or two, because root is a very common, and it's most privileged. So you can disallow people to use root to access your instance, and you can allow only with the certificate and that type of things. But again, you can use, I mean, as much as security you want to use, you can use it. But as SSH, we I what I advise you, generally always block it on the providers firewall, like Azure firewall or DigitalOcean firewall. Don't open it for usually whenever the programmer need it to update or something. At that time, you only open it and give it to them. So that's pretty much about the security. So if you are looking for any clarification or something, just put it on the comment or send a mail to uh, training@erpgulf.com. Thank you.